I just thought of something. For you, if you're being gangstalked, to be extremely emotionally and mentally free from the human beings that demons are using to manifest out of and possess and watch and stalk and bother you all day, usually covertly. And then for you who necessarily doesn't go through that, but you have some sort of panic disorder, some anxiety, something that feels like that symptom of PTSD where you don't want to go somewhere, right? The store, any normal good place for you, because right, that sort of anxiety, that sort of fear that comes over your body, your stomach usually. The solution is really easy. I just realized the problem is whoever is behind this, which are demonic spirits, the way they're controlling us in that way, right? Like you've been repeatedly harassed somewhere, like at a workplace, and okay, that sort of PTSD like symptom of not wanting to go because that anxiety attacks you, right? It's not technically always in the mind, it's usually in the torso, like the stomach, the heart. So it's not always just thoughts you can just pull, away from yourself. It's pain in the body, it's attacking the body. The body doesn't feel good. Maybe you can't eat that day. The thing is, if you all start to think of it this way, which I will, is that we've all been surrounded by these types of evil human beings and demons all our life. Demons were here before us, since they were here since Adam and Eve. So why all of a sudden do we all start to have whatever problems, whatever it is that we each have? It's because now we're awake or aware of something, correct? We're aware of something bad and evil. And that awareness is how it's using to torment us. Right? Usually our mental and physical health. Because that's like who you are. That's where you get to be you. So if those two areas of yourself is sick or you have symptoms, then they think they're controlling you. So it's not just to cause bad events for you, it's also so that the body gets sick from it. And you just don't feel normal going out. Again, everybody that wakes up every day and goes out and buys things and has fun doesn't mean they don't feel something too. I'm sure a majority of the human race has some sort of anxiety now. But for people who don't have anxiety, you get me, you actually don't have these symptoms. It's just for you, there's actually a rational reason. You actually get harassed in that environment every day. So it's not some sort of anxiety. For people who are being gang stalked like me, there's no anxiety or anything. It's just we're actually being stalked and bothered. And they're trying to force that into us. It's not us who feel anything. Right? So whichever group you are, the solution is to see that whoever is attacking you is not in this physical world. They're actually not here. Those demons are usually ancestral, in the sense that it means they're from your family's bloodline. Every time someone dies in that family, they leave their body and possess the other one. So they were here since Adam and Eve. So they're just there in your home, in your bloodline, generation after generation, for times that we cannot even count. That's abundant information about your family. Do you agree? So they think you're some weak little thing that they can also understand and study and torture you. They have these qualities of acting like they somehow have the right. Again, they're acting that way. These demons act like they have the right to be in your family's bloodline, to be in your life. You could be a good person who doesn't do the evil of your family. Or you could be just like them and having the same sins and immoralities and the same, sicknesses and things will also start to have happening to you. It doesn't matter who you are. Just because you're a person of God doesn't mean that they think, oh, let's leave this one alone. They bother everybody the same way. but some a little more, right? Basically, I just had the most horrible dreams. And I swear to God, I spiritually, right from a spiritual place, am defeating these evil spirits. These dreams stopped, but then it came back. This was one of the worst ones. It's like you're thinking, wait a minute. I also used to see these dreams before because I came from a narcissistic family. Anybody who tells you, yeah, my family was narcissistic, they're all going to tell you we all have horrible dreams all night. Not sometimes. And it starts when we cut them off or disown them. That is the evidence these human beings are demons and not people. Because all of them have these qualities where they traumatize us long term. We're not stupid, weak little things that have nightmares because we're dumb and weak. No, they're doing witchcraft to us. They're actually doing a crime. There should be a way that the government actually investigates some of these families. Because they'll find the evidence. They have photos of you or things of you. Witchcraft is something you can actually find in their belongings. So if you ever persecute them legally, stop just talking about the physical things they do. Prove it to the government they do dark things. And that caused you to lose this job, caused you to have this thing, caused you to have this. Go after them. The actual real way they're causing us problems is they're calling demons to attack us. In being so jealous of one or two people and calling demons to attack them, they're cursing the whole bloodline. Everyone is attacked. Even them. That's why they're usually poor and stuck in somewhere. That doesn't make them stop being evil because there's consequences that hurt them. That's what being evil means. They're just dead. They're in darkness. So what I'm trying to say is, in the dream, the person that looks like me in the dream, which is not us, demons are using witchcraft to look like us. So whatever happens in the dream is not real. It's just symbolic of what's happening in the spiritual world. It just means you're being attacked. So you could be a very strong, healthy, assertive person in real life, but in the dream, they will make a character look like you using witchcraft. They can do that even with dead people. And they're going to make that character behave in a way you don't behave in this life. It might act like a weak person and run away or something. Because it's just to torture you. It's not you. I really have a hard time understanding from God's perspective, since we cannot have a conversation with God, how they're able to poison us in these dreams by always making that character that looks like us eat something. Like, why don't they ever have any resistance all the time? It's sometimes they resist and sometimes they fall into it. What the hell? You're actually praying against them. So that's one of the things that you might start to hate God then. Because you're thinking, but I didn't eat it. What is the evil stuff they're feeding us in the dream? Just so you know, if you eat in a dream, it's poison. Bad things will happen to your life or you'll get sick. But you're not going to really see it as much, affecting you in a way that you think it was connected to the dream. Because before the dreams happen, you might have already been going through harassment. Then the dreams start usually. So then you think the dream is just something else. You don't really connect it. That they're actually cursing you in that dream and then bad things actually were happening. A lot of us don't even remember we had dreams all those years. It's someone who really is praying, and that's when you start to notice it. Because you become a more self-conscious person when you're praying. Whatever happens, you're thinking, what the hell was that? So keep praying, right? Don't let this weigh you out. But in order to actually prevent it from weighing you out mentally and physically, in order to actually have the strength in that character that looks like you, in order for them to have the strength to actually do what you would have done in this life, such as obviously getting away from that family in the dream, the demons that took their form, they use witchcraft to look like them. It's not them. It just means they're guilty. In order for the character that looks like you to actually do what you do in this life, you disown them, you call the cops on them and stuff. It's like metaphorical. In this physical life, you're just avoiding them. You're just avoiding the people who are harassing you in this life. One environment or everywhere you go. All we all do as human beings, we just ignore, we just avoid. So the trauma gets worse. These humans become the demons to us, and the ones in the dream become the demons to us that we've disowned, and we don't understand what's going on. But we had more peace when we were young, because we didn't associate the ones in this physical earth with that. We probably used to think, oh, I had a bad dream, it was probably from a demon. Like that. So they know that, they study that in human history, and they know that gives you more mental strength, because you're disassociating that stuff from yourself. So they constantly create dreams instead of something else, now to actually look like people. So that they use that to control you. Just like if those people in real life were trying to bother you, you know? They want that sort of memory in your mind. So when you wake up, now they're in your mind. And for healthy people who don't think of such filthy, evil humans, you don't have weird, strange, dumb, weird attachment qualities. You don't like evildoers. You're a healthy, strong, assertive person. It's spiritual. You know? They have the power to just keep doing this until God delivers you. So it doesn't matter how cool you are, how tough you are in this real life. That character, what they do, how they just seem to interact with them. And you're thinking, what the hell is that thing interacting with them for? Didn't I disown these people? Why don't they ever have any anger or hatred towards these people? They cut off. It's just like some dumb little thing, just eating with them and chatting with them. What the? That's not us. Okay, we understand that. But why doesn't it, from a psychological place, seem to repel them? Because they're probably using something that only God knows from our childhood. Maybe as children, when we didn't obviously have a problem interacting with these families before they started to get abusive, that sort of initial emotion, where if they asked you a question, you obviously live with them, they're a friend or family or relationship, you obviously used to answer them, that's probably what they're taking your brain back to. It's not conscious of the 20, 30 something years that passed by. But see, when you have evil dreams about humans in this moment that are like strangers, for example, or currently right now have harassed you, it's more likely that character in the dream repels and attacks them. Correct? Some criminal maybe tried to enter your home when you were gone. Maybe you saw their face. If you see a nightmare, someone that looks like them, you're probably going to fight with them in the dream. Why don't you fight with the evil families and other human beings who abused you? Because it's not now that they abused you in that sense. The dream is taking you back to when you were just 2, 3, 4 years old. Or whenever they used to sort of behave. So you get me, trying to fight with those humans is not the solution. Because they're using something against us we actually don't know. So we have to think outside the box then. These are obviously not them. These are obviously demons who are possessing those people, who are coming to your dreams, and they are creating them. They are creating these fake images, these sort of bodies, using witchcraft to look like those people and take you back to your childhood brain. Not this adult that obviously is thinking you should take them to court, you know? So then if you start to think, wait a minute, I'm fighting with demons from ancestors, from the ancestral bloodline. Now, if you go to sleep now and another dream starts, in your mind, you're fighting with something evil in a family line. It might start to transfer to your brain to fight with them now. Now, you might say to those characters like those evil families or anyone else you've cut off, you might say to them in that dream, I rebuke you like this. You might actually start to pray against them in the dream. You might start to kill them in the dream. Okay. And then the dream can no longer affect you. They cannot bring food. They cannot take that character back to past emotions you used to have as a kid, the sort of anxiety you had living with these evil narcissistic families, which just means they're demonically possessed at a horrible level, like the worst level you can imagine. They're like dead all the time. The demon is always talking to you. So that's what we all say, these are not human beings. Exactly, because they're not. They're possessed all the time versus sometimes. And because they're so possessed all the time, and they have no problem against it. They don't pray. They don't want to be free, just so you know. I know that doesn't make sense, right? They're being abused and controlled by demons, but they don't want to be free from them. Exactly. Then they start to actually resemble demons. They start to become just like them. And then sometimes you don't even know they're not possessed. Same face, same body language at some point. Okay, so what's the point? The point is, by fixing who you think you're fighting with in this life to, ancestral demons, these evil demons that have tormented my bloodline for years, they're possessing everybody in that, like that. Don't say they're possessing. Just say demons. Don't connect them to humans in that family. You get me? Don't say things like, oh, they're possessed. You just know that, obviously. I'm not telling you to not speak the truth. I mean, when you're trying to get rid of the dreams, before you go to sleep and stuff, tell yourself, oh, these ancestral the demons, I'm dealing with them. You pray against them thinking you're dealing with them. Don't go to sleep thinking you're dealing with a witch mother, a witch father, a witch sibling. Then when you sleep, that character is going to start to have that stuff enter them somehow, that concept, and they're going to start to fight with this stuff in the dream because they believe there's some evil in their life attacking them in real life. But if we allow these demons to continue to make the human our problem, I've uploaded many episodes this week, right? Inshallah, that I'm going to upload today, Monday, September 23, about how I'm learning to separate the humans from the demon. Because I don't realize it. They're controlling my life. They have more access to my dreams because they're connecting themselves to these humans who are possessed to stalk me all the time. That's going to damage the brain. Because then if they use someone you've never seen in a dream, that character that looks like you won't fight with them. It's just associating whoever you actually saw in this life harass you to the problem. Because now you're mature and you can actually see their enemies. Okay, but for when it comes to families, they have the power to take our brain back to childhood. And it doesn't operate like this grown adult self or teenage self. Basically, whenever, even as a kid, you started to actually treat them and see them as evil too. For some reason, the brain, something is done to it where that character doesn't behave the way it's supposed to behave towards them. It just interacts with them like they're not some enemy. That doesn't mean then God dishonors us and makes families into some sort of godly thing where he makes you attached. No, it's not us and it's not God. No one loves these wicked people. No one is interacting with them in these filthy dreams. They're taking your brain back to how it was when you were a child. They're creating a dream showing the way you were when you were young, that they were not technically abusive to you. Where then that person didn't mind interacting with them. They're showing you dreams from that person's perspective, not you. Okay? So it's manipulation. And then they also have the power. This is when you start to stop fighting with this stuff. You're not going to let this affect you anymore. When I give you this example, they can also create a dream where they might pick a character to look like a human you've actually seen in this life who is actually criminal or bad. So this sort of present brain or consciousness of yours should actually fight with this one in the dream, correct? And they might act sort of avoidant of them or fearful of them or interact with them. You're thinking, what? I chased that human in real life. I called the cops on them or something. I told them if they ever bother me again, I'll beat the hell out of what's going. Why? Why is that character so weak? Because it's not physical, it's spiritual. So only when you pray do you see that character fighting with them. It's the most weirdest thing I've ever seen. It just rarely does the right thing. That annoying stuff. Because it's not you and I. It's not our consciousness. It's not us who are in the dream. And we're always in their household. Or a home we used to live in by ourselves a long time ago. Even if they show you a dream with the current place you're in, it never makes sense. Some snake, some animal, like something weird is always there with you. Because it's just spiritual. It doesn't mean anything physical. It just means you're under attack. And those things are symbolic. You're seeing those humans because their demons are attacking you. That's what it means. So for that reason, that's how you mentally free yourself from all this stuff, especially gangstalking. Walk around this earth every day, go about your life, try to restore everything they stole from you. First with prayer, but then right as you actually go and just live your life as God helps you. I made that prayer plan on YouTube. Follow the first 10 prayers. There's thousands of prayers. Go to those YouTube channels and pray accordingly to the one that fits the dream you had or the situation that moment. But those first 10 I put there, I categorized it in a way that that's all you need. Right? Because we don't want thousands of prayers all day. Just the basics to attack the type of demons that are attacking us. Strongman, bloodline spirits, or ancestral. Then we have familiar and monitoring spirits, which is the same. It's like the ancestral. But ancestral could mean like others too. Familiar is like the ones who everywhere you go, the human beings you see, right? The strangers you see, they might seem too familiar with you. They might have the same personalities or persona coming out of them. Wherever you go is always the same type of personality or same type of person, same type of age group who always trying to enter your life. That's a familiar spirit. We have different types of human beings in this world. We should all meet different people every now and then. Evil humans have no personality. They're very similar. Okay, so that's why even if you go to another country and that human is actually different from the one you saw in this country, they're going to behave and act and have the same energy that someone did here. Because by becoming evil and getting possessed by demons for a place of their immorality, okay, they lose their own personality. Their demon mixes with them. It mixes with their personality. So then that's why it's familiar. Because it's really, these demons are similar. Even though they're also individuals. That's just God's way of helping us. You get me? So you actually get away from it. Since we can't see them. Patterns is how he warns us there's a problem. Okay, so in order to just go and live your life and get rid of this sort of PTSD-like emotion, which is witchcraft, just so you know, that's why it attacks your stomach. Because witchcraft usually goes after the stomach, the heart, and then the senses. All the senses, all the, sense organs in your face. The mind is usually just intrusive thoughts, intrusive images, flashbacks, weird images mixing at the same time. You already know that stuff. But if you're like, what in the world is witchcraft? That anxiety, Mental illness doesn't exist. It just means demons are attacking people with certain qualities of it, such as someone just having anxiety, panic attack. That's witchcraft or something they did to your body. It doesn't have to come from a dream. It can come from food or something you ate. They can put it on you in many ways. They can stare at you and put the evil eye on you. That's why you should never let someone just stare at you. If you're doing some activity, right, you're fixing your bag, you enter a store, you're trying to look for something, and you feel something is watching you, turn around and look for where they are. Look until they look away and then go on. Because that's not a rude thing only. That's not a perverted, creepy thing only. They were putting some curse or something on you. They can't do it as long as they can't maintain that look enough time. You get me? Because it's like some arrow. They're looking enough so that it actually hits you. Then their demon says, okay, I don't need to use your face anymore. Thanks. You know? That's like the more evil one, those eyes, because they try to control your body behavior with it. When they stare at you like that, such as I've always dealt with, especially in vehicles when they're driving by you, right? They're also putting evil thoughts into your mind, using those spiritual powers. And for that reason, you start to get that self-conscious thought that I'm sure a lot of humans agree they get self-conscious thoughts when people stare at them. No, we're human beings. If someone looks at us, we usually just judge them. We're like, what the hell are you looking at me for? God did not create us to hear their thoughts. God did not create us to get thoughts about ourselves. We just know their intention because that's just how he protects us. Good or bad, you know? Are they trying to steal? Like that. But for you to get all these thoughts about your body, usually if it's perverted, like your butt or something, just, you get me? Just thoughts like that. And sometimes you might look and their head is down. There's someone there or their demon is doing something. Or they just put their head down that moment. Right? You can't keep fighting with all this. This is too much for you as a human race. And it's so sad that we've already reached the end of life. We're like the last people or something. The world's going to end soon. So sometimes I get thoughts saying, what's the point of teaching people anything? You're all going to die soon. This world is over. This doesn't benefit anybody. I don't know. But the best I can, right? I'll just share what I can. It'll help many people very soon. That is, let's separate these evil thoughts, these evil feelings. Let's separate, right, the bad events happening in your life. Let's separate every time you go to a job, bad people wanting to bully and kick you out, right, get you to just quit yourself. Let's separate all these things that we would say is bad. Let's separate it from the humans in this life. Just, yeah, we take legal action as necessary. We punish people as necessary. Right? You hold them accountable. I mean, a lot of these situations, even the ones where you feel like you have to confront them and be like, hey, you know, yesterday, what you like that, you may not even have to do it anymore. Because something will happen with your energy. You're going to shift and be so above that those humans and their demons are going to realize you're somewhere else mentally. There is no point in sitting here and staring at you or smirking when you accidentally saw them or saying hello in a fake way. They're these dumb, weak little children. They're always pretending to be some big predator, some big bully. They're the weakest of the human race. Evil humans are children and they're weak. Children as in they're weak as hell, you know? Because you're an adult. So why are you a child, right? We're not saying children are weak. You get me? So you're going to defeat the dreams by thinking every time you're praying, right? Exactly, that you're not dealing with the demons who attack your money this week. You're not dealing with the demons who attack your health this week. You got sick. You're not like that. Don't connect it to the events that week, that month, that year. Tell yourself whoever is sending you these dreams is in the spiritual world. where Satan is. They're over there. They're sending you stuff from there. That's where they all come from. Then they come to this life, they possess somebody, and they torment you at your job. That person may not have bothered you for 20 years. You might have known them for years. All of a sudden, they start to target you. See? That's why I said it doesn't make sense. Because they came to your life that year to torture you at that certain situation, that time. So it's not connected to the human. It's just when they usually want to target you somewhere, then they actually bring like a fresh new human that you don't know. And that harassment starts from the beginning when you first meet them. So sadly, we then all connected to them. Correct? Because when they just appeared, when we first saw them, they were already a bully or something. But if we realize that's a demon that just took over their body and brought them to your job, brought them to your neighborhood because they want to target you with them, then we would then be like, oh, it's not really the human, because they could have then just possessed someone you actually do know. Someone who lived in that apartment with you for 5 years, your neighbor. Your neighbor could have started to all of a sudden go crazy like that. This is going to help you realize it really is not connected to the human. But because when they usually appear, they're new people we don't know, right? Then they're able to connect it to the human so well. So then when you start to go to sleep, that person that looks like you is going to start to say prayers out loud that you are already practicing and saying in this life. They're going to start to have the collection of this present moment, what you were learning and doing to fight with them. The psychological way you're shifting things with this episode, what I'm telling you. And the spiritual way you're fighting with the ancient demons. Then, the way you detach yourself from the humans in this present earth, every day you go outside, you don't connect that human who every day as a gangstalker you saw doing the same dumb thing. You don't connect them to the demon who sent you the dream. You don't connect it to the demon who stole your job. You don't connect it to the demon who made you homeless. You don't connect it to the demon who keeps sending you intrusive thoughts. Now you're going to see them the way you saw them before. They're just walking. They're not going to have mental power over you anymore to tell you they're a gangstalker. Look, they're synchronizing with you. Look, they're going to enter the same store as you. Look, because we are obviously not the problem here. When these demons are gangstalking us with witchcraft, it just means familiar and monitoring spirits. Gangstalking doesn't exist. I made an episode explaining that. Please listen to it. In your mind, you're going to be like, wait a minute. I was young and I used to see humans like this before, but I never had these types of nightmares and these types of thoughts, and my mind wasn't really the problem because of all the harassment and stalking. I used to just dismiss them mentally, but now it's very hard. You know why? Because gang stalking is not real. They're familiar and monitoring spirits. That's why they behave the same way. It's not because they want to torture you with it. No, they really are the same type of demons. You know, they're not acting that way to torment you and I. That's actually how they are. They really are that creepy and that weird and that dumb. The only thing that's fake and an act is exactly the behaviors that don't make rational sense. For example, I'm seeing a male right now being possessed to just stand in front of the store, like some statue. And in that body, I see a demonic body. That's why we struggle to ignore gang stalking, because we can actually, even if you haven't discovered it yet, that sort of character you see, that sort of zombie, or then that sort of whatever whatever level you've reached, they're sensitizing us to seeing the demon in the body. Okay, so then since it's not normal, we all might look at them. We might be affected. We might be irritated. We can look away, but then it might attack us in the ears with thoughts. Because exactly, it's trying to force their thoughts into our mind. We can ignore them. But the reason why they're able to attack us so well mentally, we can't just dismiss them, is because they're telling us what the human is thinking and feeling. They're connecting them to us. They're always telling us what they think and what they feel. But if you connect all your problems to ancient demons and not the humans in this given city that you live in, then when you feel bad energy, your brain will just be like, oh, I have ancient demons attacking me. You're going to keep saying that enough so that your brain actually thinks you have ancient demons attacking you. And now you're going to see the same body language, the same gangstalking character image in that human body. And you're really going to think they're just standing there. So now you're going to be able to see, oh, they're actually talking to somebody. You get me? You get to see how the demons are manipulating you. It's only recently that things have gotten this extreme. You know, I would say before they accused me of crime and put me in jail, I was able to see human beings normally. Despite the repeated behaviors of crazy behavior. Never once did I connect them to a demon. Never once did I connect them to a gang stalker. Never did my brain associate these things that are not healthy for you. You cannot just live in peace. See, right now, I looked at them a little closely and they moved their hand in my direction, even though they're facing each other. That's what I'm saying. They're sensitizing us to this stuff so they can attach it to us. Oh, look, that demon put their hand towards you, or that human. What do you mean? They're far away from me. They don't even know where I am, that I'm looking at them from. They're in a far distant store from me. So we want to start to see the way they are, not as a gang stalker, but as actually the way they are. That's just their body language. Because these are narcissistic humans. They're highly possessed. So they blend with the demons so well. Other people are not aware of them. Because they're not sending them energies to make them aware like you and I. When we then look at them. That they were like this all our life. But we weren't aware. As human beings, we don't sit there and watch people unless you're evil, right? So you're not aware. You're not aware that most of them have that body language. You're not aware of these things. So every time they move their body language, right? They use one knee to rest on, and then they slouch. You know how humans sit when they're sort of tired and they're talking to you for some time? They use one knee to go down like that. Every time now they do that, I'm getting evil thoughts as to what they're doing. And I'm getting this image, like some sort of, physical image of this sort of body inside of them. And that body is basically saying it's a demon. You get me? There's nothing wrong with me. It means I can see the demon. But in order to be free from the way that that's actually hurting us instead of helping us, we want to see what they're actually doing. Because the more I observe what they're doing and not the body that moves, right? Because every time they move their body, I see an image in my mind of the demon. Okay. Then you might follow that. Then if they move again, they put their hand up again. It's going to become a story. Or the character feels this, the character feels that. But if you observe what they're doing, not what they're saying, not what they're feeling, right? Not their body language either. Right? Don't observe the hands. They possess the hands too much. It's like every time they move their hand, you want to follow their hand also with your mind. Just follow it. Just see what they do with it. Instead of, boom, the initial thought you get, right? Oh, they're pointing at you, So it's like you need to become slower with your brain and with your eyes. Slower and quiet. Quiet your mind if you want to observe them. Then you're going to see they're just having a conversation. So don't observe the human they are putting your mind to look at. The one with sort of this bad energy. Observe what they're doing. They're interacting. They're having a conversation. Versus looking at them. If you just look at them, well, then you're going to see this straight sort of body language. It's like straight, You're going to see this tense energy, like they're tense. You get me? You're seeing deep things into their soul. we actually don't know what they're doing if we were standing next to them. Right? The way we would see it. Observe what they're doing. These are things that we used to see before. It just got worse over time. Because we started to just always see what they want us to see. Hey, they move their hand at you as they pass by. That's it. That's what you saw. The hey, the face going up, the expression going up, the hand moving up. Those are the areas that they possess people who they're using to be gangstalking, including any bad human they're possessing. They put witchcraft on your face and your hands and feet. The rest of your body is usually just it'll. But it's those three, sort of areas of your body that will always move and twitch and touch yourself and do things. You don't know someone over there is being tormented with every time your hand moved, what they're being told. Right? You may not have any bad intention towards them. You see what being possessed is even more harmful than you think. You're being used to torment others, even if you don't intend. Okay. Then, lastly, right, every time you go outside, it's like your eyes are peripheral. It's like you're always watching, not seeing, not thinking, but it's like you're always watching with eyes that are not looking at anybody. You're always watching what people feel. By always watching what they feel, instead of actually looking at their face, because there's witchcraft on it, there's a demon there. Now you can be like, hello, when you enter a store. Exactly, you're going to see a human say hello. Versus hello or hello. And now you see their face. Their face looks like some gangstalker image. They don't look human. Other people look at them, but they don't see it. Because that's something they're showing us. Because they're making us aware that they're following us. That we're possessing this person too. This person's against you too. They hate you too. Blah, blah, blah. So it's like trying to ignore them, right? Trying to treat them like normal people. Trying to treat them like the people we saw in past times before this witchcraft. That's not going to make us get comfortable with them. I've done it for years. It doesn't work. Because they're possessing their face. The face is always going to make an expression that makes you remember they're not a person. That they hate you and they really are going to sabotage this service. You're going to live your whole life feeling that things like that are not healthy for you. Don't follow like what they're feeling from their facial expression, their heart. Because it doesn't match what they're going to do if you interact with them. It's like you want to always follow what you think. What do you think of humans? You think they're human? You think they help people? You think if you ask a question, they'll answer you? You think if you go into a store and ask a question like that? You need to separate these human beings in this present life, wherever you are, the stores, the places you have some sort of anxiety with, everywhere you go, you need to separate it from the demons that are causing your problems. Because when they stand in front of you with cop vehicles, wherever you're going, when they all block the door all of a sudden, whatever they do, now you're not going to have that connect to you. When you get a bad dream, you're not going to wake up and say to God, what the hell was this? Oh, you're not going to talk. He's going to rebuke it, pray, and then go to sleep. Then you're going to have the energy, because you didn't use your energy to react. You're going to have the energy reserved to now just pray. And then you wake up the next day you just treat these people based on how they feel, not how they behave, because they're being controlled. If some of them, you ask them for help or something and they seem to be like, well, no, I can't. Don't forget they're human. You can keep interacting with them. You can keep saying, can you please, because I blah, blah. You can keep doing what you did in the past. With humans who used to say, no, I can't help you. I'm not, maybe the manager here. Like the way you used to keep going and talking until they really did find you a way. Because they don't know how much you need whatever you're asking. They don't know. But the thoughts are controlling you to make you think they're this horrible character, which is the demon. As if they're not the humans of the past who used to help us. Because when you simply approach them or see them, you're getting a story already. You're getting thoughts telling you what they think and feel. And of course, we all shake it off, right? Whether you're someone going through other situations or someone going through gangstalking. All human beings shake off bad thoughts. It's just that you cannot control their face. They're going to make their face match the thoughts. Then what the hell are you going to do? When they possess this cop right now who was talking to this person at a store, they really look like that employee called the cop for something. You get me? For his store, maybe. Maybe there was some theft or something. I'm watching them right now from the window. It's like I'm thinking, wait a minute. They're just interacting. That human called them. That cop doesn't know the demon in that person's body is using them. If I observe how slow they are, as actually who they are, and not a behavior meant to make me uncomfortable, that's just a really slow person. You get me? That slowness, that weirdness is their demonic possession. We're not saying that's normal. We're just saying we're not connecting it to ourselves. That's just the way they are. Now you're going to be like, oh, they were really just talking to each other. Oh, they left. You don't have any thoughts that they were doing theater in front of you. Another cop passed them in the road, but they didn't interact with this one. I saw them normally, that they were just driving normally. You get me? Whatever your brain is forced to become aware of, you don't want to just ignore that, because you and I have learned to ignore evil. For some things, we can't just look away. It will torment us with a story it will create, connected to another thing they now made us look at. Another thing, and it becomes a story. Oh, everyone in this neighborhood is this, blah, blah, blah. And you're gonna start to have some anxieties. You may not go outside and buy food for yourself or clothes because you have some sort of anxiety as you step out. You get me? We don't have to be like, but you told us there's a witchcraft in us. I know, but we have to be delivered. God has to free us. That takes some time. As he does that, you want to create the actual story you should have in your mind as to every human outside, why they're outside. By not making yourself do what, if your life was fine, how you'd be. You'd be aware of everybody at all at once. They're focusing your brain on something. They made you look somewhere. Those humans look strange to you. Their energy looks sort of bad. Whether they're sort of hyper, I know, right? Or whether they're quiet, it doesn't matter. For you, some evil is making your brain attacked to look over there against your will so they can tell you a story. Or look, that manager's talking to that other manager. Are they talking about you? They're always putting something into your head. Okay. So you looking away is not going to make it stop. You want to look at it and tell yourself, you know the way they're standing? That sort of slow, sort of weird way. They're actually truly standing like that, and they're truly having a conversation. The more you observe, you're going to realize it's not about you. If their neck was made to turn in your direction accidentally, or right intently to whatever, or their hand moved, as if they're pointing at you, now that you're not going to have thoughts saying, oh my God, they are talking about you. They're going to get you this fight. No. I'm not telling you to do this to yourself. I'm saying when they make your brain look at them. If you ask me, okay, you do that, right? Okay. Then the other human beings who normally you would have been aware of them, that one walking by, that vehicle driving by, that other, all the stuff that's happening around you, where these humans are not themselves and demons are using them. And even if their behavior is normal, they attack our mind in a way that it seems like these humans, what they do is so connected. Because the demons are connecting it. Because they're possessing them all. Instead of following what's happening with your sort of natural eyes, or like your eyes are on yourself, like it's like your peripheral eyes are on you, your face or something, your body. That fits situations where things are nice, maybe. Maybe you're at home. But every day when you go outside, the average human is very evil and they're extremely possessed. They just behave. Good morning. That's what they're going to say to you. You don't know what the hell they do behind the scene. So as you age, you might start to become sensitive to their energy, sensitive to something about them that you can't be that way with them anymore. You can't just walk by thinking your neighbor was always outside with their dog. You might start to realize now that was stalking. You might start to realize there's some evil in them. It doesn't have to be gang stalking. Demons monitor people this way also. It's just it's not extreme like gang stalking. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to see birds and animals and all these things. Everything's going to become a story for you. Oh, look, they're using this. They're using that. We just want to be free. We want to fight with them spiritually. But we don't want to wake up and then think they're in our environment. We're going to then treat them like demons, and we're not going to have a peace of mind that we all want. We're not going to get opportunities because we're not going to interact with these people anymore. We're going to avoid them. And then one day, when you actually meet really nice people who could help you, you may not even recognize them now. Because, right, you don't obviously want to interact with these ones and work with them. You want to get a job at a place where humans are obviously decent. I just mean you might develop some sort of bad thoughts coming to you as you're in the interview with them. Right? They're not like these ones, yes, but in the interview, the thoughts are still there. Oh, they didn't smile when you just smiled. What does that mean? Like that. It's basically situations where you would say humans are acting. They're not themselves. That we would all get bad thoughts. You know, like a job interview. No one's themselves. If you're acting authentic, the others seem off than you. Not when you just go outside, just chilling, you know. Then they're usually themselves too. But because some of them will always be off, they'll always be in act mode. They won't just relax because their demon won't let them. Something evil is using them. Well, then we're going to all get sick at some point. You guys can't be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You talk about things like gang stalking. We don't know. No. You guys cannot deny, even though I'm going through more hell than you, that you are similar to me. Because almost everybody in this country and everywhere else tells you they have some mental problem. There is no such thing as mental illness. It just means we're all being tormented by something we cannot see, these evil spirits. Either they're possessing you and that's why you actually have mental illness. But for someone who doesn't have mental illness, but you're seeing the energy in other people, the evil in other people like me, the way I'm able to see these things, you get me? For me, there's no anxiety, there's no depression, there's nothing. I'm happy. But other people's darkness is affecting me. So I'm literally suffering because of things that have nothing to do with me. You're the one who's possessed by a demon over there. You're walking around with nonsense. You're the one who's perverted over there as you walk by every day. And I'm so aware of that. And you might be like, just ignore me. I'm not choosing to pay attention to you. What the hell would I pay attention to someone evil for? Your demons are telling me who you are and what you think and what you feel. They're lying to me. I can't just see you as exiting the door. I see what they're thinking. You get what I'm saying? When I was younger, I still had these energies and things that I saw in human beings. It's just there was no story. It always connected to, they're just creepy. That's just how they are. They're just strange. They're not, my subconscious, I don't know where it is, but the way at the back of my head always told me these humans are just not very moral. So when you see them, you don't feel comfortable or safe with them, but you can be cordial with them. Okay, so I was able to work with them, but I could never be authentic because they're fake as hell. They were trying to teach me to be fake. So the day that I took a deep breath and I relaxed and I became authentic, all this stuff started to happen. You get me? Because that's how demons get energy, making you act fake. Have you noticed humans in a certain country usually have similar personality? When we all have different personalities, it's because they teach you based on where you live how to behave. Instead of cashiers greeting people now, instead of the employee welcoming you, and only right out of decency or humanity or just to be kind, you maybe sometimes greeting people. Instead now, customers are always greeting the employees. But just a few years ago when I was a cashier, when I was young, it was us who had to do it. And now these cashiers sit there with this hateful face. It's like that. Demons are creating these trends. People are not just relaxed. Whoever wants to greet can greet. Whoever doesn't want to, it's fine. We're not objects and property to each other. Let's just be kind and normal with each other and just be just with each other. If one is evil over there, we're not going to be kind to them, but we're going to be just with them. That justness means if they ask you for help, you'd help them, goodness. Kindness means like love, you know? Well, you act that way to good people who deserve it, not evil people. You just with them. When I say that, you guys might think it means don't help them if they ask you for... No, that justness does involve what you think the kindness meant. Just. You don't mix with them. You don't, because they're not good for you. So I'm going to try this different pattern. I'm going to try to go back to how I was before some evil demons possessed some evil cops and accused me of crime and profiled me and stalked me and put me in jail to prevent me from starting my businesses and writing my books way back in 2021. I literally lost my identity to that situation. I don't have the same personality anymore. Because it wasn't just a typical just being accused of crime situation, just the trauma from that. No. I'm not someone who gets affected by bad situations. I've seen demons possess some crazy animals and bring them to my environment. I don't freak out. I'm talking about me this time, personally for me. For you, that's understandable in many ways. I'm talking about how situations for me personally that don't affect me, such as going to jail. You get me? Even though it doesn't make sense. Someone like me would be greatly irritated with that. It doesn't affect me because as I go through the process, that weird body language of police, the weird way the females have no femininity and a lot of them are not even human. They're highly possessed. They're always trying to act like a man. They're always trying to act fake dominant as a human overall. The cops, the males, always trying to act fake dominant. No one is dominant. Only God is dominant. The way a lot of them are transgender. It's like all this weird stuff for me doesn't affect me. Even though I'm religious and you would think I'd be disturbed and look around. No. When I tell you guys I'm not a regular human, that's literally what it means. It means I'm not affected by God's creation. Whether it's a demon, an animal, a human, I'm not affected by anything. It's like I'm somewhere else. I'm always able to operate with my own feelings and thoughts. So that's why I go through so much demonic attack. They're trying to take my authenticity from me. And for you, you can't be like, well, what you're saying doesn't help me. Because you, at your own level, they're also trying to take that away from you. You get me? So for that reason, I think we all have to go back to whatever the year or time that was, that you and I would say we lost ourselves. Because that person is the only person who can help you go outside and not let fake emotions and fake thoughts, whether you actually think you're diagnosed with something, you actually tell yourself and others, oh yeah, I have a panic this, I have anxiety that, or you're just someone, it's situational for you because maybe that environment you've been harassed, right? The harassment stopped, you feel great. It doesn't matter what the situation is, right? For those people, it just means it's a bit long term. We all have to remember that person knew how to walk outside and get what they wanted. Go to another city and ask for whatever service or whatever you need to do, whatever sort of, that list that you don't want to look at, those things to do. Because of the sort of stress that is causing you. Because you don't feel like yourself anymore. You don't feel like you're that strong person you were. Because then you're not going to be aware of these humans, they're demons. You guys just don't know they're demons. I'm able to tell you they're demons, but you guys are aware of bad energy, correct? Sometimes you get weird thoughts about people, correct? And you look at them and it's not true. So you cannot say you don't know what I'm talking about. You are being attacked like me. It's just I'm at a level where I know what it is. I know why it's attacking me. I know what it wants. And I'm always fighting with it. I'm always ignoring it. I just want the awareness to stop. And it just gets worse. Because you can't shut off what you know. You think there's a bear there? There's no way you're going to tell yourself there's no bear there. So then the solution is not to find some other cool mental sort of quality as human beings to then, no. The solution is to try to get along with each other as human beings using the qualities we had in that past personality or persona, or the way that person was that you used to be before whatever highly stressful event took place in your life. You and I knew we were not being authentic with those people. We knew we weren't being our happy, natural, authentic, we weren't being that blunt self. Because we knew they're just weird. We're always seeing how they feel on their face. That is not the human. That's their demon, what it feels. We don't know what people feel. We're not God. So for you to write, and there's this emotion or energy on their face, that's their demon. The human is just walking that moment. You just need to maybe ask them for directions because you're lost. As you're about to move and try to ask them, there's this hyper-awareness coming over you telling you, oh, you're about to do this. Look at their energy. Look at their body language. They're probably not going to help. There's something talking to you, basically. Telling you how this situation is going to go, correct? Even if you're happy and sort of absent, you're always getting thoughts of what people think of you. That's their demon. I'm not joking around. Humans either are hateful and envious and they're just not good people. They don't think good of others. Or they're good people and that's it. They just mind their business. But they're not having feelings and thoughts about you. That's weird. They're just actually driving, actually walking. So something inside of them is telling you, hey, this is what they think and feel because it doesn't want you to defeat it, the demon. It wants you to attack the human. It wants you to fight with them. Attack as in always go against each other. Because in their mind as demons, if they were to expose themselves, then humans would stop fighting. And their whole goal is to make the human race kill each other. Fight. Especially over religion. And on a day-to-day basis, that's why people are not helping each other anymore. Can I use your phone? You give me $2? Everyone's scared you're the thief this time. You get me? You don't even observe each other anymore. You can't, because we're all getting thoughts and feelings. We can't just be normal anymore. We can't just be kind to each other. And we can't just be just with each other anymore. So then, what does that do if that's happening to all of us? It's going to increase these qualities of people saying, no, I can't help you. You might start to curse them. You don't know. Someone just stole from them yesterday. And you look like that. You get me? We have to overcome these thoughts, not by fighting with them and saying, that's a lie. I'm not listening to that thought. No, then it's going to come back. I'm not saying you're dumb and you don't ignore bad thoughts. They just don't go away that way. Instead, we have to do what a lot of us did when we were really young, usually in school, right? Like high school, the way we used to get along with each other, despite a lot of those humans being very immoral. The way we still used to benefit from them. You could ask them for questions. You could do homework with them. You could just help each other, right? That increases their morality. They might develop some qualities of mercy and love now from you. They might learn what it feels like to be human again. Maybe you're the only person who treated them that way, and they come from a very evil family. You get me? I'm not telling you to be nice and weak and strange and friendly with strangers. That's the thing that's actually evil and comes from demons. We're supposed to respect each other as human beings in the sense that we respect each other's individuality and privacy. We don't treat each other like we're friends or know each other. That's what creepy means. That's what people call you creepy when you say hello. Because you don't have the right. You don't know this person. They're a person. They have so many things about them that make them more than just a living being. They're persons, not an object. You don't know their boundaries. But if you were human with them, you get me? You don't just walk around, excuse me. Can you tell me you're not like that? You're sort of gentle. They're going to feel your energy now. And they're going to shift. You're going to feel their energy. If it's a bad intent, you're going to be like, forget it, I'm moving away. You get me? If it's good and they want to help you, okay, like that. You get me? It's not fake friendly. Don't act fake friendly. It's like, be more gentle. Because there's something also there with you and them, some darkness that's attacking you and attacking them. So you get me? I just think a lot of human beings in this life, they just don't know it's demons, but they're becoming spiritually, I don't want to use the word awake, because that is something that is a good term, but demons took it from us. And they have created their own system of evil and sin with it. Anything titled spiritual awakening is actually from demons. Don't ever study or listen to those videos, and just pray for those people that come out of it. We've all just become sort of higher in our consciousness. One, I think is because there's just too many humans in this world. Almost 9 billion. Can you believe they say dumb things like we need more kids in this life? What? Okay, 2, everyone is running around with more mental torture to their mind from demons. Because in every sort of century or lifetime, demons like to attack humans with different things. They don't always have to do the same thing. They just have the same cycle, So they thought to themselves, let's torture this current time, these people who usually have a lot of, materialistic things. They're usually more richer than their ancestors. Those people lived in caves and stuff. They built things. They have so much technology like that. We're sort of advanced in that way of how much blessings God gave us. right? We're not better than them. They're not better than us. So because our brain is always active, we're always working, running, this, that. Our brain is already too active. We're not calm, right? We're not, hey, how are you? We're not calm, right? We don't get to choose our neighbors and choose anything anymore. You just move from apartment to apartment. Whoever is there is there. You can't just go build something for yourself somewhere. You can't, right? You can't always have a community. So we're always around people we may not like or we don't mix with in that energetic way. I don't mean we don't like as in some immoral way. That's moral because God didn't create us to all like each other. He just created us to be just with each other. But we're not going to all like each other. That doesn't mean that you're evil. It means you don't like their personality because it's too different than you. Okay, but as a human, yeah, as a human, you care for them and obviously you're just with them. That doesn't have anything to do with the human. You get me? No, when I say like, I mean like personality. It's too different than you know? So since that's a moral thing, since that's actually from God and not a bad thing, you might then think, why did God do that? So then we find the people who are similar to us. Get it? So we find the people who fit our energy. It doesn't mean the same personality. It just means we fit. When we talk, we really can understand it like that. He just wants us to connect. There's too many of us. There's too many of us. How are you supposed to pick a friend, pick a spouse, if everyone's the same, right? He created like different energies in the sense that we click. Different personalities, different souls in that sense, so we connect. I just don't know what to call it. But whenever we see bad energy, right? Or bad thoughts, well, that's demons now. That person could be a nice person, but they're telling you to be scared of them because maybe you're the sinful one who's very toxic and envious and whatever. You get me? So it's not what you always think it is. Evil humans know if someone's a good person. It's not hard, obviously, because we see people's energy. We see that they have some peace energy or some sort of, they look shallow type of energy, you know? You can even say that's predictive. They're going to help you if you ask for help or not. You get me? Just from their energy, the way they walk. You know, they're just an absent person. La, just minding their business. They're really nice. Evil humans usually, as they walk, it seems like they have thoughts in their head. It seems like they're in their head. It seems like they have a lot of bad thoughts every second they walk versus a specific time. Because they really are. The way you can separate them from someone who's thinking, right, which usually good people, that's their quality. They're, right, going to have more of that smartness. They're always going to be thinking. Is this one is more feeling. The bad one, right, they might try to walk upright too. And they actually do try to mimic good people, just so you know. So people don't know who they are. And so they can have opportunities. What you're going to see is like they have emotions. Like just look at their face. It seems like there's too many emotions. You get me? It seems like there's too many thoughts or emotions in them. But a good person, it seems like their focus is somewhere else. You're not going to see thoughts and feelings. You're going to see focus. Right as they're getting out of a store, going to a car, right? You can see this person's focused somewhere because they're not evil. Being evil means you're focused on the creation of God. You're focused on the creation that has a life in it because that's what it means to be evil. You want to do evil. It doesn't mean they want to go break trees. No, they could care less about objects. They want to abuse those that have a life in it. So as they're walking through an aisle, you'll see on their face, they have some thoughts, they have some emotions on. They always just somewhere they just never have a normal face. There's always thoughts and feelings in their head. But a good person, all you see is they're focused somewhere else. You see focus, not feelings and thoughts. You know? The reason is demons are always talking to humans who we would say don't have good hearts, which is technically sadly the average human. It's just they go higher and higher. It doesn't matter if they're distracted. It doesn't matter if they're chatting with each other's friends. I told you already, just observe their body language and observe their face. There seems to be emotions and thoughts in them. They're never clear of that stuff. They're never just present with somebody. Their face is just moving. I know, right? Like just visualize the mouth going up and down and just smiling. Visualize the eyes just going up and down and laughing. That's it. It's just the face is moving. Like if there was some picture that you're moving in a computer. But there's just these sort of feelings and thoughts in them for some reason, always. Because that's their demon, even when this person is talking to somebody, eating, or whatever they're doing, still trying to get an agreement with them to always think evil of others, to always think this moment maybe they should stare down somebody randomly over there. Demons just want you to always do bad all the time. Hell no, do they just ask you one day to go commit a crime somewhere? You get me? They just want you 24/7 to have bad thoughts. So because this person is not good, they don't ever agree with good. There's some darkness in them to some level. They don't have to act on it. It doesn't mean they're a good person. A good person? There's just no thoughts. There's no feelings and there's no thoughts.